Don't turn back! I've stripped you of your mask. If you turn to face me, we'll both die.
You know what I think the gaming world needs more of? More games like Dark Souls. It's without a doubt that this series developed by Fromsoftware has changed the landscape of gaming as we know it today. It's the cornerstone of difficulty in its purest form, naturally weaving various difficulty settings within the game without relying on toggleable settings that tend to neuter the overall experience. The non-conventional way the story is told, the lore, the dark fantasy vibes, it's all immaculate. And it's incredibly oversaturated now. It's no surprise that Souls-likes are still incredibly common in the action RPG space, but this isn't the only IP by FromSoft. You also have the Armored Core series, which makes mech warfare even more terrifying than it already was in concept, and then you have a little series called Kingsfield. This was FromSoftware's first game to be released, and while reception for the game at the time was lukewarm, it inspired FromSoft's later works, including, well, obviously Dark Souls. Many fans nowadays can appreciate what they were trying to go for while looking past the technological limitations they were facing at the time. Now, of course, I say this as a bona fide expert on the Kingsfield series. You don't even have visible hands holding onto your sword, but this is reminiscent of Kingsfield, so it's not that big of a deal here.
Huh?
There are a number of indie titles that have attempted to replicate the Kingsfield experience, like Devilspire and Lunacid, but I was recently introduced to another title that I think takes the cake for the best Kingsfield-inspired first-person action RPG, Verho: Curse of Faces.
Supposed to be invincible. My tablet, my light.
Now, just a short heads up, I did receive this game for free by the developer, but I am not in any way being paid to make this review or even say anything about it. I just thought this game was good and saw very few reviews for it on Steam, and I wanted to get the word out so more people can check it out. So Verho is, as stated before, a first-person action RPG within a dark fantasy setting. And I mean dark. The game takes place in Yariv, a land where a mysterious curse known as the Curse of Faces causes humans to instantly die if they so much as see another person's chin hair sprouting from their chinny chin. As a result, the remaining humans all wear masks, including yourself. Not a problem for me because I've been wearing a mask my whole life. The game takes heavy inspiration from Dark Souls and Kingsfield and uses a retro PSX inspired art style. There's even an option in the settings to cap the frame rate to 12 FPS to emulate Kingsfield gameplay even more accurately, which I thought was a pretty cool touch. Starting the game takes you to a short introduction, followed by you choosing a mask. These masks are basically classes, but they only affect your starting skill points and equipment. After that, you start the first level by talking to an NPC. Every line of dialogue is fully voiced, and as you can expect with an indie title, the voice acting can be a little shaky sometimes.
You kill creatures here, same as outside, and will reward them.
But be careful, there be even greater horrors there.
Good boy. Very good boy.
You'll then activate a shrine that is used as a checkpoint, allowing you to rest and refill HP while respawning enemies, travel to other shrines, and level up your character. After a bit of exploring, I then discovered the Nameless Village. This is a hub world where you'll be regularly coming back throughout the game to upgrade weapons, trade items, and converse with NPCs and further their quests. Quests, like Kingsfield, are not marked on the map with quest markers and will rely on you exploring the levels in order to progress. After I started progressing into the first level, I immediately started to appreciate the level design. Every environment is unique and memorable, like the snow-topped Mount Ingel, the boggy swamp area that I forgot the name of, or the regal castle interiors of the temple quarters. It should go without saying that the FromSoft influence is in full force here. I mean, the starting area is literally a poison lake, and oh, what's this? A broken piece of a legendary blade? I wonder what this could be. There are tons and tons of consumable items, weapons, spells, and other goodies sprinkled throughout the levels, stealthily tucked into corners and chests, heavily rewarding players who check every nook and cranny like a rat scrounging for cheese.
Yes, bring cheese.
There are even illusory walls which will reveal hidden chests and items as well. Many of these items are of course a variety of spells and weapons split across different weapon classes. You have things like twin daggers, rapiers, long swords, hammers, great swords, spears, halberds, crossbows, and more. So there's a ton of different toys to play around with during your adventure. These weapons all have differing stats, whether that be weapon reach, thrust distance, which is the distance you lunge forward whenever you attack, how fast you can move backwards, and most importantly, the charge time, which formulates the basic combat loop. Combat in Verho is simple, but does provide some interesting enough mechanics to keep it engaging throughout the game. In order to fight optimally, you need to charge every swing, indicated by the stamina meter at the top of the screen. If you attack right as the gauge fills, i.e. when the bar flashes, you'll hit the sweet spot and do maximum damage. If you charge it too late or too soon, you'll inflict less damage. This prevents the combat from being overly spammy while also rewarding players for methodically timing their attacks. Weapons also have scaling towards different attributes, which will benefit more specialized playstyles like strength builds or dexterity builds. Certain weapons can also inflict different status effects like bleeding, frostbite, or burning. Enemies will have different weaknesses and resistances to these status effects, so it's always good to carry a sizable arsenal with you so you can have a reliable backup weapon. Now the enemy design is fantastic. There are a ton of unique monsters with their own attacks you'll have to memorize to avoid taking damage. On the surface level, combat is on par with that at Kingsfield. Run in, attack, then step back to avoid getting hit by the enemy. But even early in the game, you'll be fighting these floating eye creatures that will dart towards you, trigger an AoE blast, and also shoot projectiles at you. There's one level that stylistically reminds me of the Deku Tree in Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, where these big crocodile-like monsters jump from the water onto a nearby platform, and they'll lunge towards you with a big bite and you have to sidestep them to avoid getting hit. In that same area are these annoying little lightning bugs that will regularly perform an insect drive-by on you while you're trying to cross a bridge over a pitfall, forcing you to either engage them in ranged combat or whack them with your blade as soon as they come close. But you have to be careful doing that because sometimes they'll just bum rush you and knock you off the bridge to your death. Even the few humanoid enemies you'll be encountering still have their own special attacks, so it was always an exciting experience to come across a new enemy to fight. There are some recycled enemies here and there like you would see in the Dark Souls series, but they're different enough that I don't really see it as a big deal. Now what's even more exciting are the boss fights. You'll come across these boss fights every now and then during your journey. They're not on every level, but whenever you encounter one, it's not just a matter of sitting in one spot, smacking them with your blade, and burning through your health potions. Though you certainly could do that if you wanted to. Instead, each boss also has their own distinctive attacks that you need to dodge or counter, or else you'll be taking very heavy damage. Some bosses were like a bullet hell, spewing projectiles all throughout the arena, requiring you to dance around the projectiles. Some bosses will do a ground pound, forcing you to jump to avoid damage. This angel boss from Mount Ingel will stalk you at various parts of the level until you get to the peak where you have an epic showdown. The angel will disperse snow across the arena, obscuring its view while it tries to snipe you with fireballs. You only get brief windows of attack when it tires out and perches on a nearby stone. They did a splendid job of squeezing out as much complexity as you can get with what is really a simple combat system. And to add on to that, the music is great too. Boss fights have epic and cinematic music as to be expected, but the levels in between have music that's melancholic, depressing, and enchanting. Overall, Verho punches well above its weight for what it is, and it was a captivating experience all around. The general gameplay is addicting enough to keep me entertained, the lore is interesting, and I honestly just can't get enough of that PSX style. There were a few flaws here and there though, most of them being that classic Unity jank, so be prepared for that. I had to fiddle around with some third-party programs just to be able to resize the game window because it didn't support my widescreen resolution of 5120 by 1440, but I've had that issue with several other Unity based games, so I don't even think this is an issue with the game itself. I also had one instance where my character would clip through the level geometry and endlessly fall underneath the map. Again, not a huge deal since it only happened once and it was next to a checkpoint. The difficulty hits a massive spike near the end of the game, which I'm fine with a more punishing difficulty, but there are some moments where there are so many effects flooding the screen with colors and textures that you can't see a single thing in front of you. Sometimes you just gotta spam attacks and chew through whatever health potions you have, which did get a little annoying. Verho is currently priced at $19.99 outside of a sale and offers around 30 to 35 hours of content. I clocked in at 15 hours on my first playthrough, and there's enough build variety that I'm likely going to be doing a second playthrough messing around with magic and other builds. If you like what you see, go check the game out.
I've got a proposition. Like I said, I'm done eating bricks.